you before off camera. I'm always excited when I get to talk to you guys because the scene over your side, mate, is just unreal for me. It's just like you've got so many top-notch promotions over there. It's mind-blowing, what you guys are up to.
Yeah, the Northwest, it is like the scene itself. It's gone massive in the past few years especially when you got like people like Atomic, who've only been around a couple of years and they're selling out show after show after show. So like they're smashing it, you know what I mean? And obviously Infamous is only 3 years old. It's just insane when you look at it that way. It hasn't even been that long for it to grow and flourish so much. You'd have like Ben and Hart now. They were running last weekend.
Yeah.
Just like it's so cool to be a part of that and like, just be amongst that scene.
Because I mean, obviously, yeah, you mentioned Infamous, Atomic, mate, Atomic and Mindblood. As soon as they drop anything new on YouTube, I'm straight there. I'm watching it. I need to get over to a show at some point. But obviously, you mentioned those. You've got TNT, OTP, hopefully. I'm looking through the history. Kingdom of Wrestling, Wrestle Island.
Yeah.
I love Wrestle Island.
Yeah, I was only there just past Sunday.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to Blake on Monday. Did his episode, and he was on about, it's obviously like in a battle royal at the end of that sort of festival summer show. But he said he followed, you and Tommy.
Yeah. Is it Blake Matthews?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good lad.
Actually,
he's not a good lad. He was chopping the hell out of me in the corner in that rumble. He's not a good lad.
Boo, Blake. He eliminated Spider-Man as well. That's pretty gnarly.
Oh, well, I thought he was a nice guy. Clearly, not the best judge in character.
He must have just got him on an off day. Normally he's all right. It was nice when I spoke to him on Monday. So
yeah, I'm sure he is.
But that's always amazing because obviously that's a match that I've seen previously. At Wrestle Island, yourself versus Tommy. I mean, it seems to be like if either you guys are beating up everybody else, as part of the VGS, or you banging heads, and I don't know if it's like a brotherly, competition, one-upmanship, just having a little bit of an alpha off. But yeah, you and Tommy make great partners, but great rivals as well.
Yeah, and we've only had a couple of matches, and it's never been like full rivalry. I think it is a bit like a sibling rivalry in a way, but like the respect's always there. We know, when you get into the ring, it's business. So by the time the match is over, we'll then go out and have a pint. So, you know what I mean? We're still brothers no matter what happens in that ring because shit gets ugly in there. Not gonna lie.
That's it. But that's the competition, and that's the adrenaline, that's the blood pumping. It's kind of like. So I watched that, not the one last weekend from Wrestle Island, but the match I had on previously. There's some bits in the sort of coming soon reel that I did, of your footage. And I seem to remember you, shaking hands before the match kind of thing. Like I said, just that air of competitiveness, but respect as well.
Yeah, it's just about being the best. Like between me and Tommy, like we want to be the best together, but sometimes it's about being like you got to do it on your own. And whether it's with each other, against each other, we'll just give it our everything.
But looking through, it bugs the crap out of me because I'm really relying on Cage Match, to look up on stuff that if I don't know, I try and look through people's socials. I like to think I know a little bit about a little something about British wrestling, but obviously I still need help. I need to check stuff, and it's crazy to me that VGS has got its own like Cage Match thing. There's a history of VGS matches, but
I think it's quite insane.
I don't know who's in charge of Cage Match, but
it's pretty cool just to see that there's a list of matches that I've had on a website. Like I remember years ago, they had this Babyface app at some point, and just to see my name on that, they had all the Brit wrestlers on there, and it was just cool to just have my name on there. No picture, no other details, but my name. I was like, the fact that who I am, I'll take that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. But for my purposes, it would be nice if I could just click on your name and be like, okay, yep, that match. Obviously, instead, I kind of start scrolling through your socials, scrolling through promotions, socials, looking at matches and stuff. And one obviously that jumped out at me is, yourself against RPD. Anybody who knows this show knows we love RPD. The dude's awesome. But again, that speaks volumes for you. That's I know how sort of quickly he rose to the top, how many belts he's held. But then, like you guys were on level pegging. You went in there, and it was a serious kind of case of like, oh man, KC Payne's more than held his own, and he's a very credible threat, and he could defeat RPD.
Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, that was like a kind of shifting point in my career at wrestling. And that's why kind of where kind of got pushed a little bit to more the top end of the card. Like, not to say in like an arrogant kind of way, but I mean like RPD, the work that we put into that match and the way he like built me up in that match to make me look like an absolute monster. That was what that presentation and that story that we told was what I think helped like get me to be seen as like someone who can be in that main event level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely doing. Yeah, that's what I got from sort of that afterwards. It's like you are, the point I was making there. You are a credible main event guy. You could challenge anyone for a title, and it'd be like, oh shit, that guy is, in serious danger. You are, not pun intended, but bring the pain. You're a big boy, and spine buster here, a slam here, a few lariats, spinning heel kick, mate.
Oh yeah, we got that one in there. But yeah, I've wrestled RPD only twice, but like every time I wrestled him, like the chemistry I felt like me and him's always been there, and he's someone I really enjoy working with. Hopefully in the future, me and him will run it back.
A third match. It's got to be at some point. I say another match that I was watching was the triple threat. I'm going to kick myself here because I've been trying to focus pure on your matches. A lot of other stuff's gone out, but it was yourself against Isaac North. I can't remember. I'm so sorry for the person who Connor Clyde, was it?
Yeah,
yeah. Triple threat. You guys had it infamous. That was brutal as well.
That's probably my favorite match I've ever had. To be honest, I love the storytelling in that match. Even though a lot of it was just fight around the outside and a lot of chaos in that sense, it was good to bring that, because I think before that point, like Infamous, I'd say has had like very violent matches since then. But I think that was the first time where we kind of took it to the next level. Do you know what I mean? And like we had doors, we had trolleys, we had pretty much everything. But honestly, I had so much fun in that match. I think everyone loved that match. So I'm proud of the fact that I got to be a part of that main event, because that was the first main event I ever did for Infamous. Well, apart from Infamous 8, but I mean, like it was just the three of us.
Yeah. Best thing it was an attitude era match, for me, kind of thing, like sort of sense of brutality, the weapons, the working outside of the ring, the storytelling. It was obviously mean that
yeah, Tommy involved, Jack involved.
Yeah, it was just pure attitude era, mate, and that's amazing.
And Violent Vendetta as well. I think Jack got kicked in the nuts as well. Always good to see that happen.
yes. So to me, mate, that's just awesome. So yeah, obviously, you got those going on. But I mentioned the VGS thing. Well, before we get into talking a bit more about that, anybody knows me knows I love a faction. I think there needs to be more factions in British wrestling. I'm screaming out for it. But we'll tick the generic box. What made you, want to be a wrestler? What made you take those first steps through those doors? Is it something from a young age? Somebody's told me once that it was a drunken bet. I've heard different answers to this question, so it always intrigues me.
So my story, there's a few, like I've always wanted to be a wrestler. So if you go like from origin wise, first ever exposure to wrestling for me is I was about 4 years old, and in the 90s they used to have like these indie wrestling shows where they dress as like the actual superstars, so like people actually The Rock, Stone Cold, Kane, and stuff like that. And they had one show at Liverpool Olympia. That's where I think Ben and Hart run there now, and that show there, and that's why I went to watch it. And I thought they were all real. I couldn't tell. I was only 4. But I had the time of my life, and I was hooked then. And then I started watching it on the telly. And then for years, I was always interested. I had like that many wrestling figures, ridiculous amounts. But I didn't start getting to the point of thinking about training until I was about 15. But there wasn't many training schools about. I think All Star was about. I think I went to Birkenhead once just to have a look, but I never went back. I should have went back, but I never did. I didn't. And then how I actually got into actually training, funny enough, is my local chippy. There was a poster. I don't know who put it up, but there was a poster up there for wrestling training, and it was every Saturday. And I was like, I think maybe this is a sign. And then there was also a bus that went directly there, so I was like, yeah, I should go. And then literally after that first training session, I was feeling it. Like when you first experience taking bumps in the ring and doing the rolls, trying to not get nauseous when you're doing that many rolls, like that first session, you'll be feeling it for the next few days. But at the same time, you enjoy it that much, you want to go back next week and the week after and the week after and the week after. And then before you know it, you're wrestling on shows, and it's just become in a way, you've made your whole kid's dream a bit of a reality. Do you know what I mean? It's a crazy little story how it all came about. So thanks to that chippy, really, that I'm here.
Just went for a fish supper, got a wrestling career.
That's what I mean. It was actually a sausage dinner, but still, you know what I mean. So if I would have been like eating healthily, I wouldn't be here. So that's the message to everyone. Don't eat healthy, and you might be a wrestler one day. To be fair, these days I'm pretty sure all gyms there'll probably be plenty of wrestling promos in gyms these days.
You need to do a promo in a chippy just to reference the origin.
That's what I mean. It was just mad. It was like just like a little 8x10 thing, just saying, "Do you want to become a wrestler? Do you want to start training every Saturday?"
But no, I remember those old school shows. I remember having to break my kid's heart at some point because I remember taking like my oldest to go watch it, and like they had the fake Rey Mysterio or the fake Undertaker kind of thing there. And I think it was about 7 or 8 when I took him, and he was he thought they were the real deal. He was watching them on TV every week, and he thought it was them. And it was, when you start believing a lie so much, it becomes the truth. And even like as a 16, 17, 18-year-old, it's like I remember seeing the Undertaker, at this, I don't know, freaking Morley Town Hall or something. I was like, mate, seriously, just stop and think what you're saying. Was it really the Undertaker? And it's just at that moment, it's like this poor Ralph. I could have paused it in slow motion. You could just see these little heartbreak. I was just like, oh mate, I feel so bad.
I know. And I guess when you think about it, yeah. Well, when you were a kid, it made perfect sense to me. The Undertaker and Kane at the Olympia. But like, yeah, when you think about it, yeah. But I don't even know how I got that exposed to me. I think I was too far into wrestling by the point I'd realised I didn't care.
Yeah. At least you learned it from the other side. At least you didn't have the bad dad just being like, "No, mate, just got to break your heart. I'm just going to shatter your illusions." I hate to break it to you, but
it's character building.
Yes, put a positive spin on it. Hopefully it's made him a little bit stronger and resilient. But, but yeah, that's it. So obviously, so what school was it then? Did you, so I'm always interested because again, depending on how long you've been sort of on the scene, how long you've been training. Now it seems there's like you're 30 minutes away from a great school. You're 15 minutes away from a school. You're probably 30 minutes away from a really, really good school, no matter where you are. But that's only really been the case over the last 5 or 6 years. Like prior to that, sometimes it could have been a trek to get to a school. But like you said, at least yours only a bus ride away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Mine was based in Runcorn, so that was it's like not far from where Infamous is, and that was probably about just over an hour on the bus.
Was it RWA?
Sorry, I broke up there. What did you say?
Was it RWA?
Yeah. So was it from RWA from 2016? Obviously, till it closed and everything happened. And then from that point, I went to Fighting Spirit for a little bit, and then that closed. And then I went to Future Shock, and I was scared that was going to close. No, actually, no. Before Future Shock, I went to Claw for a bit when it was in Wigan. Then that closed, and then I was scared to go to Future Shock because I don't know what's going on, but every training school I go to ends up closing. But thank God Future Shock's still going. So I went there for a few months, and then I started going to Claw again more recently once it opened up in Croxteth, which is only around the corner from where I live, pretty much.
There you go. But the reason I mentioned like RWA is I get you referencing. I was talking to Blake Matthews, as I mentioned earlier, and it was all about obviously his journey. And he said, that's where he started because he's a Runcorn boy. So that's just really kind of like strange. Two people.
I imagine you would have been in the kids' class then at the time that I was a boss.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys came from Runcorn. A lot of people who were on the scene now, like at some point they were there, which is kind of mad. Especially like Tommy, Christy, and Pud, Stacey. The list goes on and on. Even people
Blake went off to Temple. He said you've gone to like Future Shock, Claw. Well, that just goes to show, the options you've got around you when it comes to
Yeah,
school.
that's what I mean. I've done a few sessions at the island as well because they run on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
It's like you're not short of options, which is crazy. I think, well, I say it's crazy, but it's great for British wrestling because it's just like, no matter where you are, if you're adamant you want to do it, and you set your heart to it, you've got the options out there, and there's plenty of good schools. Like you said, you mentioned Future Shock. Also, I love Future Shock. Again, I've spoken to various people from Future Shock, Temple, House of Pain, and Pursuit. Sort of seem to be, my majority of people I speak to kind of come from those areas.
Yeah. Pursuit's doing really well as well. Like I've seen their social media game is insane.
Well,
You know what I mean? They're promoting that so well, and then you've got like a lot of the guys that are there, like Will Cruz. He only just had to do the trials, like insane.
Yeah, it's again though, like we'll probably get to it at some point because I was going to mention because I noticed on your Instagram the VGS versus the World, like the Fortnite thing on Twitch.
Yeah, on Tommy. Yeah, we did that on Tommy's stream. That was just. I think Tom might have a few clips on his TikTok of that. To be honest, I was just messing about because I've never played. At that point, I hadn't played it before, so it was just about having fun.
Just dancing around.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think we jumped off a cliff at one point on a motorbike, but gotta have fun, right?
Put my hands up. I've never played Fortnite. I consider myself a little bit of a gamer, but I've never played Fortnite, so I can't. You know more than I do, kind of thing. But the whole Twitch thing. That is obviously it's another form of social media. It's another form of being able to. That's what I say when I talk to people. Like Instagram, especially TikTok as well, depending on what what you're putting on there. And Twitch it's just great exposure. It's a great way of advertising your brand of who you are and what you're doing. And if people like you on that, then come along, check us out on a show, kind of thing. Come watch us wrestle. If you like seeing us play games, come check us out in the ring.
Yeah, I think Tommy's done a really great job with his Twitch because he's been doing that for quite a while now. But like he's very consistent with it, and like he could be doing music suggestions, does some gaming videos, match reactions. He varies it up, and he's starting to get a loyal fan base, and that's just because he's been consistent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like stuff like that. I can't get my head around it. I've never looked at Twitch because kind of I've always kind of just thought it was more of like just out and out gaming kind of thing. Which if you know what you're doing, mate, yeah, it's an awesome platform. So, but yeah, for me, like I said, Instagram, your socials, that's the place where you want to be. Putting everything because it's free advertising. In my eyes. Again, I don't know how you. I'm looking at it from this side of the curtain. I know you guys probably approach things differently. But for me, I'm just like, so an uneducated opinion is, it's free advertising. Why wouldn't you
promote yourself as much as you can?
Yeah,
like you're looking. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like a lot of the VGS branding was kind of based around that, and like logos everywhere, the flags, all that. That was kind of the idea we were going for once we kind of developed a bit as like we got a bit of an image. And then it's about promotion, especially at this level. I'd say at wrestling, the more you can build yourself up, and if you can get yourself your own merchandise, and you're able to, you've got products for fans to have, it's photos, and you want to ideally have at each price point. You've got hoodies at the high end, at the low end, you got photographs, stickers, things like that. Just something that anyone can get because not everyone can afford the same price point. And like if someone has a keepsake of one of your merchandise, that does wonders for you because it's spreading the word. If someone else sees that sticker or someone else sees that T-shirt, where'd you get that from? Oh, yeah, that's VGS. And that's another way to spread the word. It literally, to other wrestling fans, it does build your whole brand up. I know it takes time, but it kind of just builds it all up. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, man. Like you say, if somebody wearing one of your T-shirts, they're walking, advert, they're just a massive poster board of, like I said, somebody stops them. But the thing is, I love T-shirts like that as well. The ones that just say because I know you guys have had a few T-shirts out. The VGS have had a few T-shirts out, kind of thing. And it's one of those ones though. Looking at the designs, very cool. But if you don't know what they are, you kind of stop and you would ask, you'd be like, "What's VGS kind of thing?" But if you know, if I was walking down the street, I saw somebody in the VGS T-shirt, I'd it'd just be like a cheeky smile and like a nod of the head, like, "Yeah, that's cool."
Yeah. like the idea and the design behind the stuff. I always wanted like merchandise that looks like you could go out in it as well. That was kind of the idea when it with the designs and stuff. But we just change it up all the time, just messing about with different things we can do. But
It is an important part of it though, like I say, because it's helping spread the word. It gets it gets you out there. Obviously, talking to VGS, obviously people don't know. I presume most people watching this, will hopefully you've got a few new eyes on you who'll be like, "Oh, who's this?" And it will explain. Obviously, VGS is yourself, Tommy Jackson, and Quintessential. So Christian Pud, and maybe
Stacey
just keep
Rose,
running.
even though she comes and goes, she's in the
Yeah,
lips. She's managing behind the scenes. Stacey Rose, she keeps it all
Stacey is as
together.
well. Yep. Apologies, Stacey. Yep, Stacey. So
You got
that's
heat with Stacey now.
what's that?
You got heat with Stacey now.
Oh no, dude, don't. I apologise. No, please, no, I don't want heat with anyone. I apologise profusely. And if you ever want to do an episode, please come on and I'll give you an hour just to call me an idiot for forgetting you or whatever you want to do. It's okay. Well, mate, actually talking to VGS, what I've got to ask is I've asked Quintessential when they came on. Mate, that elevator elimination match at Infamous, dude, that was just chaotic carnage, but in the best kind of way. I can't even imagine what it was like to be in that match.
Dude, it was mad. The worst part about it was that was hitting Bardiard outside on the floor. But sometimes you got to do what you're gonna do in order to win. But like to be honest, man, that match was very chaotic to be a part of. But like it was also very fun, very a bit of a. It was a bit chaotic as we said, but it was so much fun and like I felt the energy of the crowd and like just like when the whole Penta thing, like that was something that I'd been practicing over weeks because this match had been built up over like a whole year. Like the stipulation itself wasn't, but like like the whole feud between us and Chav had been going on for near enough a year at that point. I think it was pretty much a year by that point, and it was just crazy how like this elevated eliminator mad stipulation, and we just got the five of us literally just going to war. And then they had also the element of having Lance involved. Isaac North got involved at one point. It was just, as you said, carnage. But like from a fan perspective, I haven't really heard too many people's like opinions on it. So like it's good to hear from you saying like that you enjoyed it.
Oh mate, I loved it. I think as I talked mentioned beforehand, like before we started recording, I've like doing obviously I love DJ King, DJ King's boss, but he tends to send me like the link to the YouTube a few weeks after like a show, and I'll knock out a few reels, just highlight reels, directing people to the YouTube ready for when the show drops, kind of thing. And I remember he sent me the link to that show, and I was going through the matches like one by one, and then I got to that match, and I was just like, so I think a reel should be like 90 seconds. That's ideally because of music licensing. If anybody ever wonders why the reels are 90 seconds, it's because on Instagram you can only play music for 90 seconds before it infringes on licenses or something. So I was watched this match about 5 times, and I was like, I need to get this down to like 90 seconds and try and get everything in, or at least the awesomeness of it.
There was a lot of things that happened.
But I was on record. I was like, this is one of the hardest matches, to try and do and not feel dirty, not feel like I've done anybody wrong by cutting anything out, because there's just so much stuff going on. And it was just, yeah, but again, like I said, I watched that match like 5 times, and I just thought it was awesome. It was just, again, I love Infamous. It's a promotion that I need to get over to. I kind of class myself as an honorary fan because I watch everything they put on YouTube. Obviously, I used to talk DJ King, did the Royal Rumble episodes with us and the WCW 2000 episodes. So I know King pretty well. I always like to hype
DJ's our boy. We love DJ.
Oh, mate. He's awesome.
He's a lovely bald man. If it didn't go on stream and not call him bald, it wouldn't be true to being friends with him. We all call him
He's
bald.
not bald. His head's just the wrong way around.
He's upside down. Like upside down Sheamus. Remember that was an insult for Sheamus. Who called? I think Big Show called Eric Rowan upside down Sheamus.
That works, man. But yeah, that match, I just I just loved it. But talking of Infamous as well, the last match that I watched you guys have, we'll talk about the you're in the infamous 8, the tag team titles finals coming up soon. But the last match I remember seeing you and Tommy in was against the Horde. And
Oh yeah.
mate, you just, again, I just like the fact that you come in and you've just got that presence about you, like, I don't want to call it the hot tag spot, but you just come in and absolutely demolish people.
Just like throwing people around essentially. But like, I think that's also a confidence thing. Like, if we peel the curtain back a bit, like it's a confidence thing where like knowing how to present yourself and like you're literally puffing your chest out type of thing. Like, it's just having that confidence in the ring, and like I'd say that takes a few years before that kind of develops. Like, for me, I wasn't always as confident. So I think nowadays I'm a lot more confident in the ring than I was, say, if you watched the match that I had like say 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed every bit of that match. Like Solomon as well. Credit, he is so strong. At one point in that match, he body slammed me, but held me up and walked me around like I was a trophy. And I was like, "How are you able to do this? Like, I'm pretty much as heavy as you, near enough." But I returned the favor afterwards. Like,
Yeah, I saw that. It was just like, I love the. I don't even know what to call it because I don't really listen to commentators. So if somebody's actually said the name of the move, then I apologize. But I just like to watch the match without commentary, like as if I was there, kind of thing.
yeah.
That kind of move you do where you jump into the ropes, then you rebound. I don't know if it's just called a rebound.
Oh, and do the spinning heel kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just call it a lucha leg lariat, and that was what Tommy gave it because I was like, "What can I call it? That just sounds cool." And he was like, "Well, you do a leg lariat, kind of, so I just call it lucha leg lariat." And it came from so I saw this clip of this guy who like hit the ropes the same way I do, but he does like a spiral splash, and I was like, "I don't think I can do that." But then I was like, "Could I do a spinning heel kick?" Practiced it a few times. It was a bit off, but then I was like, "I can get this," and then it just became a part of my moveset then. I just think it's something unique because I used to do the handspring back elbow, and as cool of a move that is, I just felt like this one's a bit more unique, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's something different.
Yeah, I could probably give you like 3 or 4 names that do the handspring back elbow kind of thing. You're the only person I know that does this move. And the other one you've got where you go over the top rope and basically like hit them or hook them for like a hurricane rana. It's just you just jump over the top rope, feet on
Do
either
the
side
head
of the head.
scissors.
Yeah, the head scissors. Sorry, that's it. The head scissors.
Yeah. So that one I got from. To be fair, I probably should have discovered it a lot earlier because it shows how much of a WWE mark I am. But like when Penta debuted and it would have been the first Raw of 2025, I think it was, and he hit this head scissors, and I was just watching him. Went, I think I can do that. So then I went to training and practiced it over a few weeks, and then even on the day of the show, practiced a couple of times, and I was like, yeah, I think we should give it a go. And to be honest, the person done to Jack Johnson as well, like couldn't have had a better person in the ring with to hit that on, because like he's just like everything. If you're working with Jack, honestly, he's an amazing person to work with. Piece of shit as a character, but great to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just depending on which side of the curtain we're standing. But mate, again though, it's just something like sort of said. It's just I've not seen it. I know obviously you're referencing like Penta and stuff, but in the UK, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that. And that first time I saw you do it, that's kind of like shit. Okay, as cool as I thought you was, I was like, right, this guy's gone up, tenfold. If somebody does a move that I've never seen before, it's automatically like, oh shit, okay, this guy's automatically on my, very, very cool list. Because it's just, again, it makes you. I had this conversation with Blake Matthews on Monday. The whole point of wrestling or being a wrestler is you want to be memorable. You want people to be talking about you after the show. You want people to be buying your merch, stuff like that. And it's moves like that make you memorable.
Yeah. Like for me, I always wanted to be like a deceptively, like I was a big guy, but deceptively athletic type of thing. That was always my thing I wanted to be. I did get told a lot in my career, like as in, you need to move like a big man. You don't need to be dead quick and stuff. I've kind of like got a middle ground with it now, where I feel like I don't do the high flying moves all the time because I like to keep them special. I feel like if I did those moves every single match, it goes from special to expectation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You don't need to hit all your best tricks, essentially.
No, that's it. You need to, you should have a few things saved. You know, that you just got to break out as of when needed. Like sort of said, you know, it's a last resort. When sort of, but yeah, I totally agree. You know, I'm all about these moves like the head scissors, the leg lariat. But mate, seeing you hit the spine buster again, that's another. As much as I love those kind of moves, if somebody can hit a spine buster, just right, I'm just like, mwah, chef's kiss. And yeah, I like you, your spine on the pine smashes.
Appreciate that, man. Someone told me I got a good spine buster, and I'm happy with that. It'll never be as good as Arn Anderson's, but I'll take it.
There we go. You know the man, the reference, the legend that is. Yeah, you got Arn Anderson's spine busters, you got Jake's DDTs. There are certain people that you just kind of look at and think, yeah, okay,
I think
that's
who's got the most devastating spine buster though? Have you ever seen Ron Simmons' spine buster?
that is, yeah. I want to call it a spine bust, but I just want to call it a pancake because he doesn't even go down. He just literally just.
He's like,
He
I ain't
don't even
taking that
bend
one
his
on my
knees.
knees, mate. He's like, get down. Yeah. I wouldn't fancy taking that one, especially if it was off Ron Simmons.
That is just like, yeah, some spine busters look good. They're kind of like they've got that bounce. His is just brutal. But again, it automatically gets that ooh reaction,
Yeah.
which you've hit the sweet spot. Um, Again, that's always what I must talk. You just mentioned it there. Obviously, when you're getting into wrestling, you've been told like, do you work as a big guy? Do you just kind of go down that route, or do you kind of like you say you've thankfully you found that middle ground where you kind of like you've got the agility as well, so you want to incorporate that. But when you first started training, did you kind of have an idea of what kind of a wrestler you was gonna be, or was it just a case of we'll try some stuff out and see what works, what feels right?
I'd say honestly, I don't think I had too much of a picture of like how I wanted to wrestle. Like with like training sessions, as because if you starting from nothing, you kind of like just picking up everything as you go. Um, but character wise, I don't think I was really clear of what I wanted to do at first. It just kind of developed over time. It was a lot like I wouldn't even say like no, I wouldn't say that I had any idea at first. It was kind of just I want to learn as much as I can, and then I'll work on like what I want my character to be or how I want to wrestle. I did get told a lot of times about like wrestling like a big man, but then I also love the high flying moves. Like I'd love it when I'd see people doing hurricane ranas and like I want to try, or people would be doing moonsaults and I'd be like I want to give it a go, and then I'd go and give it a go. Or like I think my first session, and that's what I knew. Maybe there's something to do with being a big man with agility. Is that we were doing just like headlock takeovers, head scissors, kick outs, and so when I had the head scissors done to me, kicked out, and I did a kip up, and everyone went mad. And I was like, okay, maybe it's impressive that I can do this because like for me as a kid, I was always quite athletic. Like I used to be on trampolines all the time and stuff like that. So it never really seemed any different to me. But I was like, maybe I'm quite athletic then. Maybe there's something to that. And maybe it surprises people when, literally just me doing a leapfrog and drop down
Yeah.
leapfrog can surprise people, which is kind of cool because you don't have to do too much.
That's it, because I think as wrestling fans, obviously we're kind of conditioned, to see the big guy, and as soon as like like you said, they do something athletic or you show any kind of agility, it's kind of like we don't expect it. It's second nature to you. But as a wrestling fan, we're just like, oh shit, okay, again, this is different. This is something we're not conditioned for. We're not used to
Mm.
seeing it. So again, it makes you memorable.
Yeah, you can use that psychology to turn yourself into make yourself more unique. Like there's so many big guys on the scene now where there's some of them are crazy athletic, like Will Cruz I mentioned before, like some of the stuff I've seen him do. I'm sure I watched a clip of him doing a Spanish fly literally like a couple of weeks ago. I think he was in Japan. Dude, that guy is insane. There's one person I would love to wrestle one day. I'll always keep him on
Oh.
my list one day. One day.
Oh, I'm curious. You've got a list, but I won't ask. I'm just like, as much as I
It's
want
more
to,
of a
I'm kind of
mental
like,
list. It's not an actual list. It's just more up here, like people you want to
yeah,
wrestle.
yeah.
He's on there. He's on there.
Oh, but obviously, I mentioned it earlier. Infamous is now starting to, plug the next show. They've got the Fatal Four Way Tag Team match. Anybody who watched the last show, there's been eliminations. I mentioned you against the Horde, VGS against the Horde. That was to get to the final. That was an elimination match, if memory serves me right. I'm hoping it is, otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot. But yeah, yourself and Tommy are going for the infamous tag team titles.
Yeah, pretty good going. Also, to point out that I think I'm the only person to make the finals of the two Infamous 8 tournaments. So that's a kind of cool fact. Obviously, the last one was a singles one, but it's still a cool little thing.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. Don't want to slow on it. That's awesome. That's very.
And then
cool.
also, and then from a team perspective, there's me and Tommy. There's Christy and Pud. That's two teams of VGS who can win the titles. That's pretty much the whole group is in the match, and like I think it's not looking good for the other two tag teams. To be honest, I think once it comes if we can stay on the same page, once it comes down to us two, then we'll see who's going to be the tag team champions. The way I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. I'm trying to. All I can see now is you and Quintus. I can't even. Who are the? Oh bollocks!
At the same time, though, I can't write out that there is Meat Wagon in there, and they're some big dudes. To be honest, I've actually never shared the ring with them yet. So, yeah, so that's going to be quite fun. I know I'm a strong dude, but they're strong dudes.
Yeah, well, the meaty guys,
That's what I mean. Big meaty man bumping me. That's what everyone wants to see, right?
Exactly, man. You and Troy just banging off the chops. Like, yes, it's like being at a butcher's. Just look at them.
That's what I mean. And then, of course, you got Act 2, who they're one of the best tag teams in the country, and that's not even a debate in the slightest.
No. That is a
like
fact.
them lads have taken it to the next level now. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. I fully agree.
It's going to be good. Like I can't write them off completely, but I think if the four of us can stick together, we can get it down to the two of us.
I've not even thought of that. I've been looking at the graphics and stuff. That is, how have I not thought of that? Obviously, yeah, you got basically all four members of EGS against two other tag teams. Oh man, that's storytelling. That's the kind of stuff that, as a fan, man, I love that shit. I think that's awesome. That you could, knowing DJ, that's just gonna be, that's gonna be mind blowing. That could literally be some of the best moments, in Infamous history. Oh. But fingers crossed, I don't know, man. I can't obviously pick between yourself and Quintessential. You've both been guests on the show now. So's Tommy. So's Act 2, though. And so's Troy. So, I don't know, man. I'm just going to sit on the fence as a fan. Oh, it's gone. I'm talking to myself like a fool.
Me, dude.
Dude, you back?
Are we back?
You back? Awesome. Sorry, mate. I got so busy talking. I just got so hyped about that match. I can't even see the screen. I was like, is the screen frozen? And then it vanished. I was like, oh shit. So I don't know how much you heard of me gibbering on there, but
yeah, no, it did break up a bit. But honestly, man, it's gonna be crazy. Like as I said, like there may be four of us, but we can't discount the fact that the other two tag teams in this match are some of the best on the scene.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, like I said, Act 2, had the pleasure of seeing them recently against, Gen 1 at the True Grit Pride show. And yeah, Meat Wagon, obviously former True Grit champion. So obviously I'm in Leeds, so True Grit is like my local promotion. I'm lucky enough to see a lot of very cool people there. And yeah, I've seen both of those teams absolutely smash it. I'm still pushing for you, as awesome as I'm saying, like the scene is over where you are, man, I just want you guys, I want Quintessential, I want VGS, I want you or Tommy, either as the teams or as singles or whatever. I need you guys to come over to Yorkshire somehow, somewhere.
Hey, we're more than happy to branch. If any opportunities come our way, we might be there. We'll just have to wait and see on that one, but we're more than happy to make our way.
And I was trying to plant seeds when I was closely associated with another promotion in Leeds at one or in Yorkshire previously, and I was trying my hardest to try to be the advocate for like an infamous invasion somewhere. And I was like, please, come on. I was like, you guys coming over. I was just adamant. I just needed, to see the core infamous talent, just invading Yorkshire or Yorkshire promotion. Mate, that
I'd
was
love
as
actually
a
to
fan.
see something like that, like a promotion invasion. I feel like we haven't seen. I might be wrong because I don't watch all promotions, but like some of the ones I've wrestled, I'd actually like to see a little cross promotion type thing like that. I know it can be harder because like a lot of wrestlers wrestle everywhere, but we can all pick sides. You know what I mean? We have no problem picking sides. But when you've
Exactly.
got
That's
like
what
northwest and northeast or north and south, you know what I mean?
well,
That'd be sick.
it's Lancashire versus Yorkshire, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day.
Well, I will say Merseyside. Screw Lancashire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Well, so you're over that side. I think
Probably
I'm
just
not even
northwest.
Yorkshire. I'm not even Yorkshire, mate, so I can't even take sides. But I just live there. But I think as far as people in Yorkshire are concerned, it's kind of be like you're over that side. You count. So they would see it that way.
I know Atomic did have a few guys from Pursuit come down, like they have Kemper there now as well, don't they? I think
Yeah.
when they first all came over, they did make it a bit of a PPW invasion. So I'd say it's probably the closest we've had to something like that in recent times.
Yeah, and that's in fairness. I hate to say because Atomic are awesome, and I don't want to say that you've got my attention because of somebody else, but because of how closely I kind of follow Pursuit. Yeah, as soon as they turned up at Atomic, that's when Atomic came up on my radar, which I'm grateful for. But yeah, obviously, some of the guys have hung around. I think one of the most recent matches Atomic have put on YouTube was Kemper versus Critchy. So I think Kemper's there to stay. He seems to be making a mark, and obviously Nathan Black's around at times. But I just want that. Like I said before, I love factions. I just love. But the only problem with the whole promotion invading another promotion thing, I can only imagine, not an ego thing, but like who looks stronger. Would one promotion be worried about looking weaker compared to another promotion? Does that matter? It should just be about making money, I suppose. But again, I'm second guessing.
I'd say that probably it might. I think it wouldn't, but I guess it probably depends on how big and small the promotions are, wouldn't it? You can imagine like if it was like a big promotion and with a small promotion, there might be something there. But at the same time, it's more just about putting on a good show for the fans. It's not always about who wins. It's just about telling a great story, entertaining the fans. If they go home happy and you got a shit ton of butts in seats, job's done.
That's it. Exactly. That's exactly how I would like to think ego won't play a part, and everybody's smart enough to be like you sort of said, yeah, just make money. We can always do a reverse show, and it goes both ways, kind of thing. But yeah, and again, like I mentioned, the whole VGS, having been around, we talked about it before we hit recording, kind of jokes that like you guys are still together. Nearly 4 years?
Yeah, I think we're just past 4 years now. The 18th of I should know this. Geez, 18th of July 2021 was the day that the promo video come out. So we used that as kind of the official date of formation, and that's still on. I think that's still on Tommy's. That's still on Tommy's. That's his on his X. Well, on his X. I refuse to say X on Twitter. On his, I think it's pinned on his Twitter still. That's the original promo video from 2021.
Nice.
And you can see how different we all are compared to that. One, Tommy's got hair. Christy looks like Hornswoggle. And I'm wearing the shit pants, yeah. I think I was wearing suspenders at one point too.
That rings a bell. I won't sort of. Normally at this point, I would magically make a picture pop up, but I won't. I won't do that to you, man. I won't do you dirty. I like to say, your wrestling attire has improved over the last 4 years.
I think it was it wasn't even like I'd say just by choice. So it was just a case of comfort. Wrestling in those shirts. I think Christy did it, didn't he? He did the when we debuted and we attacked James Reed and Charlie Brennan. When we'd done that, and he didn't wear the shirt after that. I think he knew it was like too hot for this. I'm not doing it. Me and Tommy did a few matches. I think Tommy did quite a few. I did 2 matches in a dress shirt and was like, no, I can't breathe. I can't do this. I don't mind wearing a top that I can cut the sleeves off with VGS and I can do all that. But it's too hot. Tommy done it for a good, I'd say for probably the first year of VGS, every match he wrestled was in a shirt. And I'm not talking short sleeve, I'm talking about long sleeve that, he'd fold up the sleeves, but I don't know how the man breathed in it. Look at him now. Now he's like, no more shirts.
Commitment. That's what it is. It's commitment to the cause.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I mentioned the infamous the tag team side of stuff, but this episode is a KC Payne episode. It's not a VGS episode. What else have you got? Is there anything else coming up that you can talk about that you can we can hype up or?
Hold on, your micro. I don't know if it's your or my microphone. It's crackling a little bit. When you're talking.
On my side, you're crackling a little bit while you're talking, but I can still kind of hear you.
Lovely internet playing up. Sorry, but okay, what was you saying? It's just it kind of broke up a bit, so I couldn't really hear it.
That's right, dude. That's why I don't go live. I can edit this all out. It's fine. It's not a problem. But I was just sort of saying, obviously, yeah, so going forward, obviously, we've mentioned the infamous, the tag team fatal four way, but this isn't a VGS episode. It is a KC Payne episode. So I want to hype up. Have you got anything coming up that we can talk about, or you can, we can look forward to?
So at the moment, the next few things I'm doing is I'm seeing a lot of it's with Tommy, to be fair. So, let me cheat and just check my little calendar here.
It's that VGS thing.
So the next one I'm doing flying solo will probably be BPW in September. So I think that's the 7th of September. And we're in at Tier 4, Burnley Pro Wrestling. And I'm not sure who I'm wrestling yet, but the last thing we were doing, we were in a heavyweight tournament to become champion. And I did get to beat Brian Strong. He's half brother of Brian Strong, the hunter, supposedly.
Yeah.
They look a bit similar, but you can tell they're definitely not the same person. Like personality is night and day, mate, telling you. But yeah, so there was the first round of that, so I assume that'll be the continuation of that tournament, and so that's the next thing for me, like on my own. But we've got Slalom coming up and Kingdom of Wrestling. I don't know if I'm flying solo on them. I'm flying solo on the island, I think, because I think Tommy can't make it. I'm not sure about the Kingdom one though. I'll have to double check with him. Doesn't talk to me anymore.
There's a few things coming up though, then, so definitely to keep our eyes on. People need to be looking out for, and if they can get to the shows, definitely sort of get there. I was going to ask about we mentioned it right at the very, very start. The obviously what you did this weekend, the festival. I'm always kind of interested as well because stuff like that. I think there should be more, outside wrestling. Sort of wrestle festivals. It all kind of fits in really well. When I was speaking to Blake, though, he sort of said it was weird, with it being outdoors, the sound. Obviously, there was a bit of an issue with the audio. And you had Mad Dog running commentary whilst you was in the ring and you could hear it. How'd you find that?
To be honest, I've done that kind of setup before, like not just like thing, but I mean like the whole where people are commentating your matches and you can hear it whilst it goes on. It's kind of a weird one. So last year I wrestled RPD in the Echo Arena at Comic Con, and then Mad Dog was commentating as we were going. So for me, I just fed into it a bit. In that case, it doesn't really bother me. Like either I'll ignore it, or if I'm like the heel in the match, I'll play up to it. So if he says, "Oh, I didn't get the pinfall," like, don't you tell me what I didn't get and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So you just kind of have fun with it. But I know I've spoken to other people, they can say it can be very distracting when you when you can hear the commentary like right on the microphone as it's going on. Yeah. But I think those Carney shows as well, just have fun with them. Like it can be a very different crowd to your typical wrestling shows because a lot of people are there for the music and everything else, and it's down to us to draw them in and tell a story and entertain them. And to be honest, we did have a good few people around, and they all did enjoy the show. Although the match between me and Tommy did have me off, saying that we'll go for a beer, and then decides to roll me up on the side. Do you know what I mean? Tommy Jackson is meant to be a trustworthy man,
dude.
But he did keep and get me a beer at the end, though. So respect to Tommy on that one.
Put that's too much fresh air or something. I don't know. Or just sort of, that countryside fresh air just flipped him or something.
Yeah, we were lucky as well. The weather was all right because when me and Tommy got in the ring, it just started to rain and then it stopped. So we were like, thank God for that. It's like it would be typical. We get out there and then it's going to lash down now and we've got to wrestle. But
I can't even imagine trying to sort of, if that again. I don't know if it had started, would it have been a case of like calling it quits? Would you
Oh,
have
yeah, we
worked
just went
through
with it.
it? Would you kind of obviously your moveset's got to change? I can't see you trying to hit, the Luke leg lariat when the ropes are all fucking piss wet through.
Yeah, I'd go straight through the ropes. I'd just probably land in a heap on the floor.
There you go. Oh,
There'd
mate.
be no grip. But we got lucky in
Crazy.
that sense.
Yeah, like
Did you
at
see
least
that
it
show?
stops.
That was sorry, Tom. Did you see that show from a few weeks ago? Well, I think it was like last week. There was a wrestling match, and they had the ring on like a pond. Did you not? Have you
No,
not seen that?
no.
Dude, it's like a floating ring, and like there's a part where they're in like a battle royal, and they all go to one corner, and the thing starts tipping over like it's gonna sink, and the wrestlers all run back to the other corner, and it levels out. You have to see it. Like it's cool.
I need to find that. That's going to be one of the weirdest Google things I search for. Probably, I can hold my hands up, say that's probably not true, but yeah, I'm going to have to Google wrestling on a pond or something.
Yeah, I don't even know how they done it. They must have put like, because like when you set the ring up, like how it set up, I don't know how they must have put like floats on the corners or something. Because like, I just couldn't imagine a wrestling ring being stable without a steady, flat base like the ground. I can't see how it would just float like that. But it's a cool little creation, and I hope that we do it over here, and I'll happily be part of it. So if anyone wants to book a show on a pond and can make it work out, I'm there.
Dude, that's it. First name on the list, KC Payne.
Rumble on the River is the name, you know what I mean? Rumble on the River. Someone take that, and I want a cut as well.
Rumble on the River. Wow, dude, right, that's it. I think that's pretty much. I ain't going to be able to top that, mate. So I'm going to have to tip my hat and accept that's probably going to be the best way to. We'll end it on, Rumble on a River. Dude, that would be awesome. There's so many good venues as well, though, that they could do it. So how would you get to the ring? Would somebody sort of row you out on a canoe to the ring?
Yeah, what an entrance that would be. Just imagine Scott Oberman doing his entrance really slow while someone plays the violin. Like those, like Venice where they go slow on those boats. He gets a slow boat like that, playing the violin as he just sits there as they go. I can see that. I think that'd be great.
Dude. Oh, mate, seriously, that would be.
And I know the promoter is crazy enough to do it. If I speak to DJ King, he will find a way. DJ King, I'm talking to you, man. I know you love the idea of Rumble on the River, and you'll make it happen one day. So.
We need to find a big pond in Runcorn somewhere. I don't know, get somebody to flood the garden, or get a few houses just to flood the garden.
There's a pond there, isn't there? A canal there. You know what I mean? I know there might be a few boats in the way, but it'll be fine. That's where you can put all the people on, get the fans to on the canal boats.
Dude, oh mate, seriously, this has just got me so excited. I'm just like, right, yeah, DJ King. I'm going to pester him now every day. And okay, he'll block me on all forms of socials because I'll just message him now and be like, Rumble on the River, Rumble on the River. Come on, mate, what are you doing?
2026 on the canal in Runcorn. Let's do it.
Lance Rivera versus KC Payne, infamous title, Rumble on the River.
Bring it. Although I think if I do literally like Larry, we might tip over as I hit the ropes. Know what I mean?
Oh, mate, that would just be unreal. But dude, yeah, I think that's it. I can't. That's what I'm going to be thinking about now for the rest of the night. So I'm pretty much gone. Dude, thank you so. I said I'd keep you for about an hour, which we have been, and mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for just sitting down and talking wrestling with us.
No, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to leave you with one more thought as well. We've got Rumble on the River. The theme song will just be, roll on the river, rumble on the river, rumble on the river, do. That's stuck in your head now, mate.
Oh, dude, that's just good. Right, that's it. No, I'm legitimately lost for words. So,
Hey, we said it was a competition, didn't we?
I'll ask you. I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to let people know where they can find you on Instagram, so I can give myself a minute to compose myself. But yeah, let the good people know where they can hit you up on Insta and sort of see what shows you're on, what shows you've got coming up, what you're doing, and all the good stuff.
No worries, guys. So if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, so you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I've also got TikTok. It's at the KC Payne. You can also find me at the KC Payne on Facebook as well. I've got a Facebook page. And we've also got the VGS content pages. VGS content, if you want to check any of them out. And then anything, so any of the fucking hell, I've gone here, man. I've lost my whole composure now. But if you want to follow us on that, please do. That would be awesome. Be very appreciative. And honestly, man, I had a great time. It's been really fun chatting to you. We've had a laugh. I just can't stop thinking about Rumble.
That's always key, right? That's all I need to know. I'm happy if the other person's happy. That's also, I just want this to be fun. It's a good hour. You know, we just chat wrestling, look back on what you've done, have a laugh, look back on what's to come, you know, hype it all up. Get everybody excited now for Rumble on the River. And DJ King, again, we're looking at you. You need to make this happen. You're the only person we trust to make this happen.
Yeah, DJ
or Peter, you know, I don't know if Peter might be able to do it. You know, it's called Wrestle Island, for God's sake. The ring could be the island.
Very true, Pete. Rumble on the River, Pete.
Yeah,
and he'd do it as well, Pete. He'll probably do it, put it on the Mersey, you know, between Birkenhead and he's right in between.
Dude, obviously, if you're not following Mr. Payne, please do so. My boy Ash will tag him in the Instagram post for this episode when it is uploaded. If you're not following, please give the dude a follow. He's awesome. See what he's up to. If you can make it to a show, you know, please do. If you can make it to the next Infamous show, definitely please do. You know, it will be amazing. Infamous always put on great shows, so definitely be there. And I will just say thank you for watching. You know, hit like, subscribe, share, comment, all the generic stuff we ask you to do. And yeah, remember, always work the left side. And we'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.
These guys.